Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to the Victoria 2 live stream. Hope everyone's having a great time out there in internet land. Thanks to everyone who showed up a little bit early and got to see me do terribly at pinball. But now it is 12:01. It is time for some Victoria 2. I got all the expansions loading, and technically I have downloaded the Pop Demand mod for Heart of Darkness, but I'm not going to be using it for this. Just because I think that the vanilla experience is generally going to be more accessible to people. It's certainly, when you've got a game as complicated as Victoria, let's not complicate it too much with the mods. Also, I have not played a whole lot of Victoria 2. In fact, basically, the only Victoria 2 I've ever played was for the one Let's Play that I did. Now, what's funny, though, is despite the fact that I haven't played that much Victoria 2, only the one game, and I still don't know anything about the mechanics. Despite that fact, and despite the fact that I have probably over 500 hours put into EU4, and quite a few into CK2, I don't know how many, Victoria 2 remains the only Paradox Development Studio game I have ever finished. I have never played any other PDX grand strategy to the literal end of the campaign. I came very close in EU4 with the Sunnis multiplayer game, where we played until like 1803 or something like that, just a few years short from the actual ending. We accomplished all our goals, we finished, but we still didn't reach the end of the actual thing, so I haven't actually done that yet, which is funny. But I have done it for Victoria. I think it helps that the time span of 100 years is a little bit shorter, also the fact that there's quite a bit of cool automation features in the game, so you need to micromanage a little bit less. But there we go. So let's go ahead and load up the game. So we are going to be starting at the start of the grand campaign. You can see I played a few little games here just to get a sense of like what the hell the situation is, but just a few years here and there. Like you can see, like these Japan games. Those are my other saves. Those are the ones from the Let's Play, and that's it. And then my little practice games from Belgium here. Not even a full game. Hello, Farkishington. I mean, it sounds like Washington, but it's not even that. Thank you very much for subscribing. All right, let's jump into to the game over here and talk about what we've got. I love my green coffee cup being kind of see-through there. I should have put it in my mug. Hold on. Wait for it. Do the transfer. There we go. Proper coffee mug. Good stuff. All right. So, Belgium! Despite what you might think from having watched every other one of my videos, actually a country. It turns out Brussels is a city in Belgium, not in France, which we'll only acknowledge for the remainder of this video. Afterwards, we'll go back to the other inside joke. If I recall correctly, I might be wrong. In vanilla, like totally vanilla Victoria 2, no expansions, doesn't Belgium start at war with the... Oh, we gotta move my head a little bit. Doesn't Belgium start in a war with the Netherlands? I'm not sure. Now, it is very, very, very likely that the Netherlands will declare another war on me. Hello, Starnsworth. Thank you very much for subscribing. So the very first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to England, or the United Kingdom, and I'm going to ask them for an alliance. And they're bros, so they'll accept. Okay. So Victoria 2 is another Paradox Grand Strategy game. It's a little bit older than EU4, obviously. You can tell by the graphics. It's a bit more dated. Although what's surprising is they did come out with an expansion not that long ago. There are two in total. A House Divided, which added a whole lot of United States Civil War stuff, and then Heart of Darkness, which dealt, I believe, predominantly with a lot of, like, African colonization stuff. Also added newspapers that are kind of neat for, like, the first 2 minutes, and you sort of get tired of it. And did some other balancing kind of nonsense. So, Belgium is actually a surprisingly good country in Victoria 2. They start off, they're relatively educated, relatively industrialized as well. At the start of the game, you do start off... in 11th position overall out of all the nations in the world. And that becomes... I sounded like Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear there for a second. In the world. And that's very important in this game, because there's a mechanic in this game where, depending on where you rank, you have different positions. Is there not a way to just get a full listing somehow, somewhere? I don't know. But the top 8 countries in the world... hello, X-Force P. Thank you very much for subscribing. Appreciate it. The top 8 in the world are considered to be great powers, and they have the ability to influence other nations and bring them into their sphere of influence and really get quite a bit of pull internationally by doing that. So in a way, the game is about trying to become one of the great powers. Now, The United Kingdom is basically the end boss of Victoria 2, as, I mean, it's right there in the name, Victoria. Obviously, the UK are monsters in this, and generally speaking, the win is like coming in second place. If you can dismantle the UK, if you can knock them off, it's very, very impressive. We're certainly not going to do that today in, 3 or 4 hours of gameplay. In fact, I'm not sure how far we'll get at all in that. But there you go. Right now, we're a secondary power, which is also pretty good. And then there's minor power sort of below that. And then there's uncivilized people and who have not westernized yet. That's what we did last time with Japan. So Belgium starts rank 11. They're actually not that far out of the top 8. Also, the Ottomans at this point are the sick man of Europe. So they're actually going to fall off pretty quickly. And some of these others tend to change around quite a bit as well. So it actually is not that hard for us to get into the top 8. The way you do it is you're ranked on points. There's prestige, industrial power, and military power. And prestige is extremely important. Not only does it help you become a great power, but the higher your prestige, the better you're able to trade your goods on the international market. Thank you, Truss, for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Always nice to have more subscribers. Also, subscribers, after we're done the Victoria 2, we're going to do some League of Legends ARAMs for goofiness. Maybe we'll do 1 or 2, and then we'll do a Dota game or something like that. We'll mix it up a little bit. So make sure your clients are all patched up, which, actually, I say that. Let me make sure my League of Legends is patched up. Oh, wow, the patcher instantly crashed. That's a good sign. Maybe we'll be playing Dota instead. We'll see how it goes. I'll take another look at it at a break. Anyway, so there's a variety of goods that are out there. Raw materials, industrial goods, consumer goods, and military goods. Hello, Electric Stone! Thank you for joining the party. And I do wish the volume for that was a little bit lower, and I really apologize that I can't actually tune that volume. But if I didn't have the sound, I wouldn't notice anything. So having a higher prestige means you get first crack at buying these goods from the international market, because you can't generally produce everything in your own country. Let's take a look at what Belgium, what we produce here. So if I switch over to, like, I tend to use the infrastructure map mode for this. There's an actual map mode for the goods production, though, isn't there? RGO output, I guess, would be it. Something like that, yeah. RGO is resource gathering operation. It's your raw goods. Every province has a good that they produce. So we have grain, coal, wool, sulfur, more coal, iron, coal, some cattle, more coal. So we have 4 sources of coal. Luxembourg is not part of our nation yet. We're going to work on it. So we got 2 sources of iron, 4 sources of coal, a little bit of timber and some other goods. So there's a lot of raw goods we don't get ourselves. And if we can't buy them off the global market, because especially early on, there tends to be a lot of shortages, our people will suffer and there won't be quite as much tax money going on. Much of our population will be artisans as well. If we take a look at our population, this is the real appeal of Victoria 2. You have these things called POPs, which are these sort of population groups, and it's divided everywhere. For example, in the province of Brussels, and in fact, I could filter this, right? So we've got, these are our 2 states, and then the sub-provinces, I think that's how it's called. I think Vlaanderen here, or Flanders, would be our state, and Brussels would be a province. If I filter to just Brussels, these are all the people who live in Brussels. We have, first of all, a few religions. We have some Jewish people and some Catholic people. We have no Protestants or anything like that. Just Catholics and Jewish people. We have different nationalities. We have the Ashkenazi? Ashkenazi? Anyway, those are the Jewish people. We have some Flemish people and some Wallonian people. The Flemish people speak Dutch, and the Wallonians speak French. Yes, maybe, yes. And then they all have different jobs. So we have some people who are aristocrats, we have some people who are artisans, and specifically have different types. This artisan produces canned goods, this artisan produces wine, this artisan produces luxury clothes, and this one produces furniture, for example. This is only in Brussels. There might be different artisans in different places other than that. We've got bureaucrats and capitalists and so on and so forth. We've got some laborers here, right? So we've got some laborers here producing sulfur, for example. So the artisans can produce canned goods. To produce canned goods, you're going to need, I need like a goods chart. Hold on. Victoria 2 goods list or industry. Like I need the flow of how things go. Flow of how things go. Canned goods, you can make it from food things. There we go. They can use fish, cattle, grain, and I guess you need all of that, because you definitely need the iron. I think you also need grain, cattle, and fish. Like it's just sort of generalized. Is the way I think it does. And then it produces that. So we don't actually have any provinces that produce fish, for example. So our artisans that produce canned goods, they will need to import fish. And so having a higher prestige gives her a higher crack at that. I believe that's the way it goes. Anyway, so we've got all these population groups, and it's great. And then they have life needs, the stuff they need to just live, okay? And depending on what group they're in, they have slightly different requirements. And then you have the everyday needs, the stuff they would really like every day to feel good and satisfied with themselves. Oh, there we go. If we mouse over, it'll tell us. Well, it only tells us when they lack something? Huh. Yeah, so these Wallonian clerks right now, they don't have access to wool, cattle, fish, fruit, or grain, and so they're miserable about that. And then they've got their everyday needs: glass, coal, glass, paper, tobacco, tea, and then finally there's luxury needs: coffee, opium, wine, luxury clothes, and furniture. So the more stuff they have, the happier they'll be, and I believe the more they'll pay in taxes. So there's a lot of different stuff to manage there. We do have a budget over here that we can tweak and set in a few different ways. Before I go and modify this, though, I want to change the politics, because here's the thing. We've got industry that we can set up. We took a look at our production. You set up industry based on states. So we can build factories in Wallonia and factories in Flanders. The fact that it says Belgian Wallonie makes me think that there's bits of Wallonia that we don't actually control. There's a state-based view, isn't there? Oh, wait, this is Flanders. Oh, it's because Luxembourg. Luxembourg counts as Wallonia. So if we do build a factory in the state of Wallonia, it's only going to be like half, or, well, probably about 3/4 as effective, or maybe 80% as effective, because we don't actually control all of the provinces in this state. There's a view for that. Again, I don't play enough of this. I only played that one game, really. So I'm going off of a lot of memories of things. Whatever. We'll stay in political map mode. But, okay, here's the thing. Really nice factory early on, I think, is cement factories. We do start with one in Flanders. We don't have one in Wallonia. And the thing is, in Wallonia, we do have, and I believe cement requires... Whoops, cement. Requires coal. And we have coal. We have coal in both of our states. So it seems to me that it would be a good idea... Oh, there's a thick line dividing Wallonia from Flanders. There we go. It seems to me that it would make sense if we went ahead and built another cement factory in Wallonia. Now, we can't do that right now. We don't have the ability to build a factory. Why is that? We have the wrong government type. So right now, the party in power is the Catholic Party. There's also the Liberal Party. They want all the free trade, laissez-faire kind of stuff. This is the true definition of liberal. The more, or I guess if you were sort of American, it would be the Ron Paul kind of thing. Libertarian kind of thing, right? So that the true meaning of liberal. And then the Nationalist Party over here has the state capitalism, where the state can sort of get involved in industry. It's not full communism or anything like that, but it's a little bit more. So if we did switch to the Nationalist Party, we would be able to build another coal or another cement plant in Flanders, or in Wallonia. I'm going to take a poll in the Twitch chat in a moment here to see what people feel about that, if we should switch governments. We do have elections, but right now apparently we do have a king of some kind, king or a queen, I don't know, some sort of monarchy going on, which is why we can choose, we can place another political party under control. We have the ability to change that. Otherwise, we'd be at the whim of the electorate. So I want people to know in the chat. There's a quick way to make a poll, right? I wonder if Essentia, assuming she's in the chat, if she can set up the poll. She is. Just like a Moobot poll. It doesn't work as nicely as the Nightbot one, unfortunately, but if we switch parties, so right now we don't want to hold elections. So we can do liberal, Catholic, or nationalist. Basically, the question is, are we going to stay the current Catholic Party, or if we're going to switch to the Nationalist Party so we can get involved in industry building? If we don't get involved in industry building, we can only capitalists can build them. We have capitalist population. Now, right now, I don't think we have a whole lot of it. We can filter. So we've got everything right now, and we've got aristocrats. Where is the capitalists? Right here. We only have 350 capitalists in the whole of Belgium. Now, they can still start some businesses, but they might not have quite enough. It looks like the chat is pretty overwhelmingly in favor of the Nationalist Party. Yes, the National Socialists, which would be a whole other thing. Yeah, just from the chat, I can tell we want the Nationalists. So we're going to go ahead and on that. Essentia, don't worry about it. I know I sprang the poll on you sort of suddenly. So we're going to do that. So the National Party is the new ruling party. Their trade policy is protectionism. Economic policy is state capitalism. Religious policy is moralism. Citizenship policy is residency. I think this would be for like people who are not of the primary culture group. They're allowed to be residents, but they can't be like full citizens. And the war policy is jingoism. Jingoism is like full out, like, we gotta attack them before they attack us kind of military policy, which honestly with the Netherlands as our neighbor is going to be a damn good idea. So we've gone ahead and switched over to nationalism, which means we can build a factory. So I'm going to go ahead and build a cement factory in Wallonia. So it is going to cost us a few bucks. It's going to cost us about 3,400 pounds. Or maybe this is in millions of pounds, which might be somewhat more accurate. And it's going to take a certain requirement of stockpiled goods, which is used, I think, for this base price. So because we don't have any iron, timber, or machine parts to get started, we'll have to buy them on the global market. So it'll cost us a fair amount of bucks, but we'll get that going. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by subsidizing all the factories. We're going to try to keep them open. At first, they're mostly going to be a money drain, but we should be able to start moving. Next thing, and we will need a poll for this. It's what kind of technology we're going to research. There's a lot of technologies in the game because there's like 5 categories in each category. So there's Army, Navy, Commerce, Culture, and Industry. And in each one of those, there's 5 sort of chains or trees to go down. They're linear, so they're less tree-like. So for in Industry, we have the Chemistry and Electricity group, which we already have basic chemistry. We could start researching medicine if we wanted. And then inside of each one of those, there's a bunch of specific inventions. So just by getting medicine by itself, we increase our supply limit by 25%. So we can have more troops in one province. But the big thing is, it would unlock the ability to research these specific inventions like vaccination, which would decrease military attrition and give us military hospitals, or give us well, most of these are for attrition. There we go. We can learn about genetics and heredity, which increases population growth, for example. All kinds of good stuff like that. Now, there's, I think, probably 3 reasonable routes to get started here. Maybe 4. Medicine by itself is not considered that strong, but organic medicine is considered super strong because there's some stuff you can unlock over here, if I recall correctly. I think for the extra farming output or something. I might be wrong. Something like that, but we can't start researching until 1850, so that's kind of a non-issue. So I think the big questions are clean coal, which is one option because we get 20% extra coal production. We also get more iron production. Also, our coal mines become bigger, so more people can be employed as laborers in our coal mines. Also sulfur and iron, which we do have as well. There's also some inventions related to that, like coke. And everyone knows if you do coke, you work harder, so you mine coal faster. I think that's what they're going for. I might be slightly wrong. I can move my head a little bit more. I don't know if there's going to be a really good spot for my head in this game, actually. I'll just make it a little smaller and it'll be easier to fit in. There we go. So I think that's the logic there. So, clean coal would be one thing. The other thing, and I'm quite keen on this, is in culture, go down aesthetics right away, which gives you more prestige. Just getting the technology gives you more prestige gain, and then gives you inventions that give you a certain amount of prestige. Now, this prestige is shared, so it's split based. So the first person would get 5 prestige. The second person to discover this would get 2.5, then 1.25, and so on and so forth. I quite like, personally, starting with Romanticism, and then going right into realism, which I'll be able to research afterwards. I'm very keen on that. So I think it's clean coal, or this, or we could build up our army and have some slightly stronger military for when we fight the Netherlands, which will happen one way or another. So the advantage to going culture early and getting the prestige early is we will become a great power quite a bit faster. And that is really strong. In fact, what I usually do is go Romanticism, Realism, into Idealism for more research. We can't research it yet. We got to wait until 1840. And then usually I'll build up my industry. Doesn't mean it's right, though. So we need a poll. I guess I'll set up the poll. Oh, yeah, and then there's positivism. Positivism, god damn it, is another possibility because it gives you 10% more educational efficiency. So you will research a little bit faster. So your people will become literate faster, and then they will, after they're literate faster, you'll get more research points. So we can go for coal or prestige or education or military. So I'm going to go ahead and open this poll. There you go. And that's how you vote. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to throw down a slow mode of like 20 seconds. This will not affect subscribers. Subscribers should be immune to slow mode. It'll just stop people from spamming one thing over and over again, unless they're a subscriber, in which case I'm hoping you don't do that. All right, let's take a look at the poll results. So to everyone watching on the YouTube, sorry if... Ooh, coal definitely in the lead. Early on, anyway. It will help kickstart our economy a little bit, but it will delay us becoming a great power. All right, it's coal at 40%, prestige at 30%. So the people have spoken. We are running this a bit more as a democracy, or at least the illusion of a democracy, as all democracies are. So we're going to go ahead and get started with clean coal. Railroad is also going to be really good once it becomes unlocked in 1840. Railroad just increases your production of everything. It helps your factories work better, and it helps your farms and everything. Everything just works better. Hello, Lord Inigo. Thank you very much for subscribing. So, next thing we got to do. We haven't even started playing yet. We can set our national focus in our states as to what we should encourage people to become. And what I like to do early on is I try to encourage people to become clergymen. And the reason is, early in humanity's history, it's really the clergy were the only people who had time to sort of sit around and read and think a little bit, and they really were the driving force behind a lot of scientific research. I mean, the theory of the sort of basics of gene theory was a monk, right? He came up with the idea of like inheritance of traits, and even like the Big Bang theory, that was a Jesuit priest, I believe, that came up with that. So I'm going to set my national focus in both states to encourage clergymen, because if we mouse over our technology here, clergymen provide research points. Right now, 1% of our population is clergy. Around 2% is optimal. So we're going to try to get our clergy up to about 2% of our population, and then we'll switch to some other form of focus at that point. Being a secondary power gives us a bit more literacy, but again, if we become a great power, we get even more. I'm going to go ahead and unify my troops here in Liège and Brussels. Oh, Cole90! Thank you for subscribing. Maybe you'll join us in some League of Legends a little bit later, assuming I can get it working. Either that or Dota. Make sure to have both downloaded and patched. I'm going to get another artillery. We can support one more military. So we're going to build some artillery in Brussels. Get that going. And finally, the budget. All right, people, how are we going to deal with the budget? There's definitely some a variety of different ways to think about this. I would like to max out my education budget and probably my administration. Having more education people means the clergy get paid more. They don't automatically become better, but it encourages more people to become the clergy, and therefore you get more education. The next thing is administration. You pay your bureaucrats more, but you also have this administrative efficiency. Right now it's at 29%. Hey, Johnny87878, thank you for subscribing. The administrative efficiency basically determines how much you tax people, how effectively you tax people. Because right now, even if I set the tax literally at 100%, I'm taxing the poor at 100%. It's not really true. They're only going to get taxed at about 29% because we can't really go door to door everywhere yet. So I do like maxing them out. Sometimes the administration can wait a little bit. You know, maybe we could do 80% to save a bit of money because it builds up over time. But it also affects crime fighting and all kinds of things. So maybe we'll max that out. So tax-wise, we really could run literally 100% tax rate at the start of the game and 100% tariffs. It's possible. Right now, hey, we're at state capitalism. We can do that. If we were a more liberal government type, it would max out our possible tax rates as well as tariffs. We can actually flip the tariffs the other way, where we subsidize. If we bring it below 0%, we actually discount goods. We use tax. Hey, hippie shaman, thanks for subscribing. We use tax profit, basically, to make goods cheaper, to help people import goods. Because we have a protectionist government type, we can only make it so cheap. But I think that would be a mistake. So I think what we do is bring it up. It will make it harder for the people to satisfy their needs and import things, especially since we're taxing them so much, but it might not be a terrible start. Everyone in chat, Grief says, tax the star out of them. We can also lower the military stockpile. That's not a bad idea. I think I'm actually going to disband my navy, first of all, so we're going to save some money there. And yeah, we could, that's construction. We could go and bring down the military stockpile, so our troops won't be quite military ready. But we'll save a few bucks. These numbers will change dramatically as soon as we start the game. We will probably go into debt quite a bit early on, and that's fine. That is part of the game. I'm going to go ahead and unpause at this point, and we'll run it a little bit on minimal speed and see exactly what happens. We started with a couple of £1,000 in the bank. Just lost a big chunk of money, certainly. Suddenly, the United Kingdom just accepted our alliance offer, and yet we are losing a lot of money every day. Now, just because we're losing money doesn't mean we couldn't spend more. I would actually like more railroad everywhere, and that's something we could do if we have a bit more cash. We'll see. Now let's take a look at their needs. So 6% are getting their life needs. So the only people in red are the middle class. Some of the middle class people are getting none of their needs. Now it's probably not actually due to the taxes. If I drop their taxes as much as possible, they're probably still, well, they get a little bit better. All right. They do get legitimately better. It's probably because they're having a hard time bringing in their goods as artisans, because artisans are middle class people right over there, which is probably a big part of it. The rich, we're taxing them pretty heavily right now because we don't really rely on them. Later on, we'll probably want to drop the taxes on the rich quite a bit to encourage them to open up factories. But there's not enough of these guys to really make much of a difference at this point, so I think that's going to be fine. We're still losing money per day, but not too much. The economy does tend to stabilize after a few days. Oh, I want to disband these ships. These are just transport ships. We don't need them right now. We may as well save a few bucks. Who cares? We'll get potentially some manpower back to the pool, and there we have it. So, good, excellent. We are building that factory. Yes, we are. We wouldn't be losing any money at all, probably, if we weren't subsidizing these factories. But by leaving them open, it's probably okay. We could selectively turn some off. For example, maybe we could turn down the small arms factory and the ammunition factory. Those things will be very important when we do go to war. The fact that we can produce those goods in-house is pretty good. Actually, they're making money right now, so that's pretty good. Canned goods is the other one. Your military units do need some upkeep. Where do we find that out? When you're building stuff, you can figure out what they need to be maintained. I'm not sure, actually. Doesn't tell me how much I need, but it doesn't tell me the stuff they need to be maintained. I know when you build, it was a thing. Well, it tells you what you need to create the things. They tend to need canned goods and booze and clothing and all kinds of different stuff. Oh, I love the chat. Some people are like, stop tariffs. Other people are like, max tariffs. It's one of those things in the game. Right now, despite the fact that we're running 100% tariffs, we're making zero money out of that, which I guess means no one's is importing anything. Let's go ahead and bring the tariffs down to 0 and see how much things change. Kick the speed up a little bit. Or here, we'll keep it at like 1% so we can see token stuff. I think people aren't able to buy anything from the global market. And it's because our prestige is low. But that's okay, we'll research our clean coal first. The clean coal will help people. We'll have quite a bit more resources going in. Now, over time, we will encourage people to stop being artisans and instead become factory workers. What are they actually called? Because they're not laborers. Oh, let's take a look at that in a second. Craftsmen. Yeah, the craftsmen will be the people working in factories. We've got 17,000 right now. And so hopefully at some point we'll get the artisans. Because there's 99,000 artisans and only 17,000 craftsmen. These artisans, we're going to try to encourage them to start working in factories. Speaking of factories, cottage industry. The wool district in Ghent has become a hub of activity lately, as more and more little cottage weaveries are springing up across the province. While the Ghent folk have always been known as a thrifty kind, the ready access to some of the world's best wool might also explain this flurry of activity. Oh yeah, right here, they do have wool. So we can tell them to work harder, which would give us 15 regular clothes in our stockpile. And the population in Ghent would lose some militancy. I don't think they're very militant as is, though. Well, they have 1.5 average militancy, and that would burn off 0.5. That'd be something. We can also tell them to work smarter, which would create luxury clothes, and would cause them to lose consciousness. That doesn't mean they become unconscious. Consciousness is a the idea of like sort of self-determination, and that like, oh, we can be free people, we can determine our own course in life. As consciousness increases in your country, people want more and more social reform. It does tend to lead to slightly faster technology gain, but it can make things spiral out of control a bit. I'm going to tell them to work harder, because that seems entirely reasonable. There you go. The militancy has dropped from 1.5 to 1, and that's great. Now, we could start fabricating a cause for war, say, against the Netherlands. We can justify a war. I don't know if we're going to need to, honestly. I'm pretty sure we're going to get declared on at some point. And right now, we don't really have the economy. Unlike, like, say, EU4, where you usually want to declare war on turn 1, that's often not the correct solution in Victoria 2, just because economy and industry is such a major part of the game. People are saying, yeah, we should start like occupying stuff over here. Well, we're not really in a position to colonize, and the reason is we don't have the sort of life rating technology to colonize most of these places. Well, there's the region map mode that I was looking for earlier. Colonial map mode. Will it hover? I'm not sure if it'll highlight green if I can actually reach things. But right now, I mean, we don't have the life rating for things. So life rating means, like, the reason people don't live here, well, the reason civilized people don't live here is because the land is too crazy and shitty and, you know, full of jungle and deserts and things like that. So we need more technology before we can settle these places, is what's going on there. So I don't think we can settle anything quite yet. Oh, there we go. We've got colonial range. So we can reach this because it's in blue. I don't know. Oh, naval range there at the bottom. Okay, yeah. So we can't actually reach here, nor do we have the life rating potential to get there. Oh, no, it does, actually. Life rating is... Yeah, life rating is 10, which is below 35. 35 is all we have the technology to colonize right now. So colonization is not going to happen yet. All right. List, unemployed, been around to all the workplaces in the city, can't seem to get a break, sir. I wonder what to do. I cannot go home and let the grass grow around my feet all day. My family trusts me to support them. What should a poor sod do when there are no jobs available? With jobs scarce, creditors inversely plentiful, many from the poorer classes are having trouble making ends meet. I don't know why. They're only being taxed at 100%. So we can say, and we should do a quick little poll in the chat here. That would increase all poor people in Flanders. They would like subsidies, and they would also gain militancy. They're called poor people for a reason. This one would gain consciousness, or we can build local reform support. Okay, this is all the people who support low subsidies would gain militancy or consciousness, and this would make them gain less consciousness, but more people would become in favor of low subsidies. So I guess the thing to do at this point would be to check to see how many people would support... There's a way to check all this. How many people would support subsidies in Flanders that are poor? Boy, that's like unemployment. So who's the poorest? I guess we sort by people who have the least amount of cash in reserves. I think there's a way to check, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of that. I'm probably looking at the wrong meter, though. If we take a look at the actual reforms. So the subsidies, low subsidies here. 0% of the population want this reform. So I can say and it shouldn't affect anything at all. Because no one actually cares. No one actually wants that reform. There we go. That's a good way of seeing it. Doesn't tell you specifically where, but if 0%, I'm pretty sure that 0% is everywhere. Formula K says, build up your fleet and beeline machine guns to colonize anything meaningful. We could. I mean, I guess that's the thing. We really could focus on just doing something like that. I mean, that's going to be a little while away. Let's go ahead and like run at speed 5 for a little while here. And see exactly what happens. The Netherlands, who are you allied with? The Russian Empire. That's kind of scary. I wonder if we could suck up to France a little. And we can't form alliance, I think, because of reasons. Probably because they hate the British or something like that. We are allied with the UK, didn't we? That was the first thing we did. Am I wrong? Yeah, we have an alliance with the UK. We're fine there. They don't always send troops over in a timely fashion, but their ships are pretty good. USA, model colony. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Don't really care about the USA. They're way over there. What do we care what they do? Of the independent Texas. You can start the game as the independent Texas, but you're probably in for a bad time. It's a very hard start. Prussia. Prussia is like early Russia. It's like pre-Russia. Pretty sure that's what that means. Ottoman Asia. Yeah, the Ottomans are pretty beefy at this point. Egypt's quite large. And yeah, last time we played as Japan. Got our first newspaper. This has come in. Oh, and the upper house has been rearranged, mostly conservative. War between the Russian Empire and Kokand. Fears of Denmark, Oldberg reaction. People are out of food. Everything is miserable. Awesome. All right. Wonder about taking out a big set of loans to build some railroads. Probably not yet. We shouldn't be spending anything on, yeah, the naval stuff. See, we need ammunition, canned goods, artillery, and small arms is what we're currently buying for our military, but we've got that set a little bit low. Yes, the capital of Prussia is Brussels. Oh, I like this event. Hendrik Conscience publishes I can't even read this font, let alone, you know, is that a V? Vlaams, whatever. The Flemish Lion. So he publishes a book, and what's great about this is you get a bunch of free prestige. Now, every pop in Belgium who's considered to be Flemish will also gain consciousness, which is a bit of a double-edged sword. Look at this, we went from 11 to 10 automatically, and with this event, we've gone up to rank 9. We're on the border of being a great power. It also means that now that we've got more prestige, it's easier for people to import goods, so we actually could see some tariffs. We'll keep it cheap, though. Age of liberalism. Oh, that's a pain in the butt. Liberal agitation is arriving in Belgium. So populations become more liberal and gain some consciousness. Yeah, that's too bad. Clergymen are getting close to 2%. We're almost halfway there. We're about a year into the game at this point. We'll keep running on a relatively high speed. How much debt do we have? Only 2,700. It's fine. That's nothing. Your economy will vary dramatically in this game. And yeah, as soon as the clean coal kicks in, we'll be in pretty good shape. So we're going to do the clean coal, and then I still sort of kind of want to do the prestige branch. Secret societies. Liberal causes have started to gain traction in Brussels. While no one knows for sure, rumor has it that the root cause of this sudden upswing in liberal propaganda effort is a recent foundation of a secret society, whether it's things or things or things. Someone is spreading liberal ideas in Brussels. Maybe that's what they want us to think. So we get liberal agitation in Brussels for 2 years, which increases local consciousness, or we can pass an ordinance against it, which makes people in Brussels more liberal. What do people think we should do? 1 or 2? That's what we need to do. Can I just, can I poll 1, 2? Is that the shortcut? No? There's a command for it. Whatever. I'll close this poll. New 1, 2. Open. There we go. Let's find out what people want to say. Do. 2. We're going to pass an ordinance against the secret societies, making people more liberal. All right, but not quite as conscious. Fair enough. So I'll keep doing that as that pops up. Now we're in Namur. We'll get a few of these. The watch on Brussels, fast and true stands the guard in Brussels, at least with the local poet is to be believed, a poetical pamphlet decrying the state of our nation's political backwardness and oppression has inflamed feelings in one of our states all around Belgium. Cries for national unity can be heard as liberals, goddamn liberals, take to the streets protesting the old order, calling for national unification with our cultural brethren in other countries and liberalization of our political system. We should consider dispatching troops to provinces where liberal agitation is present. Bloody revolutionaries. So more liberal agitation. Oh, any/all liberal agitation get extra consciousness, so we know where those are. Or we can say the old order must be defended, which would make everyone in Belgium more liberal and gain militancy. I'm going to take the bloody revolutionaries whine, and we're going to take our troops and actually move them into Namur. Hope that that helps stamp down the liberal agitation. I'm not sure it's going to make much of a difference. Presence of a sizable army contingent in Namur has caused liberal agitation and revolutionary talk, which could just be up to now. Oh, to die down. Yeah, we put our army in Namur, and it stomped out the liberal agitation. Done. And, oh, from Spa, it went away on its own because of a local preacher. Nice, okay, good. Yeah, we gotta keep them damn liberals down. And another one in Allons, good. And Chartist Society, calling for broadening the voting franchises and an end to landed voting rights is open in Spa. So Spa can get liberal agitation, or we can suppress the society. You know what, I'm just gonna, like, keep moving my troops around then. And we're gonna stamp out the liberals. Clean Coal is finished researching. Excellent, so we got much faster production, and other things have popped in as well. How do we increase the chance of getting coke to be discovered? If we already have pit coal, or invent early railroad. Now, we do have early oh, no, we don't yet. We can't unlock it until a little bit later. We could go straight to cheap iron. Or, now we can't get idealism yet, because again, we have to wait until 1840. I quite like the idea of getting the extra prestige gain, though. Now, where do you get machine guns? Yeah, machine guns, we don't get until 1870, so you can only rush to it so fast. But is it not machine gun that gives you the extra life rating? Or maybe it combos with something else. A lot of the medical stuff will let you get extra life rating stuff, if I recall correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, people want prestige now, and I agree. I think it's time to do that. There's a lot of good stuff. You know, in culture, there's market structure, which gives you more mining and farming output, which is very, very good. Like, early on, you tend to just want to get more stuff going on. And then after that, it becomes about, like, factory throughput, inputs and outputs. But yeah, we're going to pick up romanticism. Positivism, I don't know why I have such a hard time with that goddamn word, is also kind of cool. But I want romanticism. I want to become a great power. Belgium deserves to be a great power, especially after all the shit he gets from me. Liberal insurrection. Death to the king. What? We can send in the troops or negotiate with the leader. Hold on, we need another poll over here. Although I already know what people are going to say. We're going to close this poll. Going to start a new one. We're going to say troops or negotiate. Boom. Open poll. Bam. Let's hear the vote. Boom, 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 boom. And yeah, you can't put in number. Oh, wow. Everyone's like troops, 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 troops. Okay. So people in Tournai are going to get militancy and consciousness. And the Flemish clergymen in Tournai are going to be dropped by 10%. We're going to murder 10% of all clergies in Tournai. All right. The people have demanded it. We've got some more of that going on, actually. Where's this one? This is Liège. All right, we'll do it. Oh, we got the same thing going on in Spa. We'll do that as well. We may have to reevaluate soon, though. We're going to keep killing off all the people. And these aren't like, you know, useless laborers. These are useful, like, clergymen and soldiers in that last one. That's no good. We don't want to do that. Boom, 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 boom. What's that poll? Presence of sizable army contingent in Spa. Okay, we got rid of the liberal agitation. Now, we can see that somewhere, can't we? Oh, we could see... Oh. Flashpoint tension. Liberal agitation, there we go. So what we want to do is we're going to keep moving our troops anywhere that's got that little liberal agitation icon. Oh, Tournay's got it. So we'll do that. And we'll just keep trying to stamp that out. Oh, we have enough consciousness and support by our upper house that we could enact some political reforms. Usually I wait until there's a movement really demanding it. Actually, the suffrage movement wants it quite a bit. Wants universal weighted voting. So I'm going to go ahead and give them that. It allows more people to vote. Well, right now only like wealthy people can vote. Basically, rich and middle class. With weighted universal, everyone can vote, although the rich have a lot more influence over that. We're going to go ahead and put that in. It'll probably also settle down the liberals a little bit. There we go. We stomped out the ones in Tournai. And we can move to Charleroi. And do that. And just keep that down. Whack a liberal. There you go. Alex Steiner says it right. There we go. More suppression. And I think that probably does it all. The end of the revolution. Broken, busted, and thrown to the sides lie the barricades, and the tricolors have stopped waving from the windowsills. The events that will be recorded by history as the Belgian Liberal Revolution of 1838 are all in the past, and it seems that we have managed to weather the storm. Pray for the fallen. So, basically, all provinces, all pops in the percentage of people that support liberal will lose militancy, will lose consciousness, which is still funny, and liberal agitation will be removed from all of Belgium, and we will gain 5.25 prestige. Bam. Look at that. I'll move you back to Brussels then. That's fantastic. And check out the newspapers. The latest one. The fears of Netherlands. A recent article in Dutch newspaper startled their nation. A detailed analysis of their chilly relations with Prussia, a comparison of the relative military strength, led the editor to the conclusion that both countries might soon find themselves in a state of war. You know... Okay, yes, liberal agitation should have gone away automatically. If the Netherlands do go to war, we're going to want to declare as well. I think it's time to start justifying a war. We want to, specifically, actually, we specifically want to have a war for Luxembourg would be the easiest thing to do. We can't declare on them. Luxembourg is a puppet of the Netherlands. So what option? Is it free people? Liberate a country from its oppressors, or liberate a country. Or release puppet. So we could do the release puppet. It would only release it, though. Independently. Then we'd have to do a follow-up war for Luxembourg. We could also just say acquire a state. It's the most aggro one there is. But this is the thing that lets you just annex provinces. So, yeah, I know there's still a newspaper. I don't really care about the newspapers that much. What's the chat saying? Acquire state, release puppet. People are sort of 50-50s. And yeah, I know that we're operating at a loss. It's fine. It'll fix itself soon. Have faith, guys. Make a new poll. We're going to go state versus release. Add that. Open a new poll. Whether we're gonna justify a war. Are we looking to just release Luxembourg, which is very low infamy? That's your sort of bad boy kind of thing. Your aggressive expansion from EU4, for example. Or we can acquire a state, which is quite a bit more aggro. Oh, it's overwhelmingly in favor of acquire state. We're gonna justify that. Right now, it's 80% in favor of that. Okay, and only getting worse. So, we'll justify acquiring a state. So, if we do get discovered, we will gain a little bit of infamy, but we're going to be okay. Well, there's a limit somewhere. Where's the bad boy? Right over here. No, that's militancy. I don't remember where it is, but there is a meter somewhere. Oh, here we go. No. Infamy, yeah. So we're at 0, the limit is 25. Above 25, it basically gives everyone else in the game CB to attack us. Mission to the Netherlands. In rather embarrassing blunder, several of our soldiers in the uniform of the Netherlands have been caught while trying to sneak across the border. While the rumors that their task was to stage a border incident to justify our invasion was totally unfounded, it would be wise not to provide any fresh fuel for the fire right now. So our CB generation speed has dropped down by 25%. That's okay, we'll wait for that. Hey, railroads are being built by our capitalists. That's really nice. Oh, we've been detected. We gained 8.3 infamy. That's fine, that's still manageable. 4,600 in debt, that's fine. We did boost the tariff, so we'd get a few extra bucks. And looks like our middle class is not really suffering that much. Oh, we got caught again. We'll crank our taxes all the way up and see what happens. Again, because of our administration efficiency. Whoa. Pause real quick. Oh, we're no longer in the sphere of influence of the UK, which is actually kind of annoying because that'll impact our ability to get certain goods probably. Although, on the other hand, maybe our budget just like skyrocketed all of a sudden and started making money. Why? Oh, it's because now people are importing. Because I think because we're not in the sphere of influence of the UK, we're no longer have to compete with them in exactly the same way. So we're actually be able to import a lot more stuff, which means our tariffs are making huge money, and now we're going to start making a profit magically. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to repay my loans right away. I'm actually going to save up. And start building railroads everywhere. It's about 4K to build a railroad anywhere. And we definitely want to start doing that, especially, probably especially where we've got our coal. Like here in Tournai. We're going to expand our railroad there. Oh, we discovered pit coal! 50% extra production output, which is great. Oh, that's where it's automatically being built. We'll also we'll throw one down in Spa. Ah, we got our CB against the Netherlands. Excellent. The other thing I suppose we should check, if they're not getting along with Prussia, is there any chance we could ally with Prussia? They will not accept right now, but we can suck up to them a little bit and see what happens. We'll spend our Diplo points doing that. There's no diplomats in this, but there are Diplo points. Yay! We finished research of romanticism, so we get bonus prestige gain. I'm going to go ahead and grab realism at the same time. We're just going to buff our prestige like crazy. The earlier you get it, the better, because that percentage gain is going to be quite good. But also, the earlier we can invent this stuff, the more chunk of shared prestige we're going to get. So at this point, I'm actually just going to start holding control down. And that lets you auto-build railroads everywhere in that region. We're going to spend all our money building railroads, which is going to... It's a really, really good investment for the future. Really, really good. Everyone, the next tech has to be idealism. Let Quill save up for that. Yeah, in 1840. And that's... It's probably a decent idea. I suppose I could have just not researched anything. Now, you can't cancel research once it's going. Because you can save up research. It's kind of weird. I don't think I can cancel. Yeah, I should have just maybe not done anything. That would have been the smart thing. Well, on the other hand, getting the prestige is fine too. Build more railroads. We actually can't build railroad here because... Oh no, we just don't have the money yet. Alright, that's fine. Hey, we discovered Romanticist music, and we're actually the second people to discover it, so we got 2.5 prestige. That's quite nice. And Romanticist art, same thing. Very nice. Alright, now we've got bit railroads building everywhere. Next thing I'm going to do is try to pay off my loans so that we don't have to get charged interest. Not that there's that much interest. Almost done. Making a steady stream of money. There we go. We can repay the rest of the loan. Now, we will have to bank quite a bit, especially if there might be a war coming in the future. Oh, the other thing I have to do is check my national foci. There we go. Yeah, there's an election going on right now, which is fine. I actually don't mind if we slip back to a liberal government, because at a certain point, I'm going to want to start getting more capitalists. So we're done encouraging clergymen in that we've reached the ideal 2%. We could start working on clerks, which is not a bad idea. So the way that factories work is they hire craftsmen and clerks. Right now, we have no idle craftsmen, no idle clerks. So the factories are actually mostly empty. They're running below capacity. I think the thing to do would be to start encouraging craftsmen. Clerks are also quite good. They make factories run more optimally. And they do research, or they do provide research points, but you don't need as many. And the craftsmen are really the ones that tend to create the bulk of things. So yeah, I think we're going to start encouraging craftsmen. Franny 1 agrees, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. craftsmen over here, because right now we've got a lot of artisans and whatnot. Now, early on in the game, artisans are actually more efficient than factories until you get later technologies, but I think it's still going to be a fine idea to get started with that and just try to fill this up a little bit. Mrs. Pork, or Mr. Spork. I don't know which one I want it to be. It's either Mr. Spork or Mrs. Pork. Suggests that if I'm going to go to war soon, you may want to encourage soldiers and increase soldier pay to just have a bigger pool of soldiers. And that's not a terrible idea. I may not want to encourage soldiers, but I'll go ahead and increase the budget on them to 60. And more people will become soldiers and officers if you offer them more money. If you offer too many, it'll actually upgrade more people, I think, to just officers, which is middling purpose. I think the more officers you get, the more sort of tradition and things you can get for more powerful generals. But that'll do for now. So, I mean, we could go to war right now. I wonder if it'd be a good idea. The UK is not currently at war. It would probably bring the Russians in, which is very scary. Are the Russians at war with anyone? No. And we don't have any military tech yet, so I think I'm happy to just keep kind of chugging along here. CB is going to run out. Oh, that's true. It is limited time. Oh, we have another decision to make. So let's go and set up a new poll. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll explain what the options are over here. So it's about the economy. There's a debate in Flanders. Should we do more laissez-faire, which is just the government doesn't get involved in sort of like trade and economy and all that? Do we accept interventionism, where it's, you know, most of the government, the economy runs itself, but the government will intervene where necessary? We can do decisive arguments for state capitalism, right? The state can open factories and run things, or specifically planned economy, which is the sort of communist, like, state runs everything kind of thing. I'm curious to see where people lie on this, and we'll use this to sort of establish our overall policy as to where we want to lie. Right now, 4 is winning quite a bit. People want to, I don't know, it is changing. 3 and 4 are definitely leading. Right now, there's not a majority. And we're getting 2% invalid vote as well. Excellent. 4 does not have a very big margin anymore. It's very close. It's like 32% for 4, and then 25% and 25% for both 2 and 3. No one wants the laissez-faire. Laissez-faire tends to become much more powerful later on. You just let the capitalists take over everything. 4 and 3 are now, like, tied. This is intense. So right now, the voters, no one wants laissez-faire, like the actual my people. Everyone else, my entire population here, is split in the 3 categories. Now, either way, we're going to piss off someone. If I did go, so with everything being equal, and it is, and with, yeah, it's like 34% each for 3 and 4, state capitalism, planned economy. State capitalism, if I choose that, it will piss off the interventionists. If I choose planned economy, it will piss off the laissez-faire people. And there are no laissez-faire people. So I'm going to go planned economy, which is pretty much the opposite of how I tend to play this game. So that's pretty interesting. All right, poll is closed. Bam. Maybe we'll end up with a capitalist Belgium? Or, sorry, communist Belgium? Could be. Now, the one downside is, if we do end up going planned economy in our politics, because right now we've got state capitalism, and it will change the way that factories and stuff all get costed. It'll come out more of our budget, but we'll have more direct control. We tend to make a lot more money in laissez-faire because we don't pay for things, as long as we've got enough capitalists around. Love and war. War policy is debated in local election. So, yeah, we can go jingoist, military, anti-military, or full-out pacifism. Right now, most of our population does not support jingoism. We could encourage people to become jingoists, or we could just be pure pro-military. Again, jingo is like, I will strike first and get things done. Whereas pro-military is just, we'll have a big military, but we don't necessarily start things. Curious to see. Again, we'll have another poll over here. Personally, I'm going to encourage at this point either jingoism. Well, I don't know. We'll take, hold on, let me open another poll. New poll, same options, 1, 2, 3, 4, where 1 is more super military and 4 is more pacifist. And then there's the in-betweeny bits. All right, patriots, we're going to fight for our country. Need to maintain constant vigilance in foreign affairs. War between countries is never good, or war is a fundamental evil that must be avoided. This will sort of set our policy for most of the game here. I'll use this as a base to follow from. Overwhelmingly, we already have a majority, above 50%. Not much, but slightly above 50%. We're at 50.5% in favor of jingoism, and 41% in favor of pro-war, so we'll go all the way to jingoist. Right now, virtually none of our current voters are jingoists, so it'll be a long slog to get them up there. But at the very least, we will not be pacifistic. That is clearly the case. So let me go ahead and close this poll out as well. Bam.